The nephew of Dale Cregan has been jailed for drug dealing and theft. Oscar Cregan, who's 20, helped set up a cocaine trafficking racket in his neighbourhood after returning to the UK following a stint in Spain. He was arrested during a stop and search in Greater Manchester in March last year and was found in possession of 2 Nokia burner phones used to peddle cocaine and also morphine. Whilst being detained, he was caught scratching the words "Fuck Greater Manchester Police" and "Oscar Cregan is a bad man" on a door in the exercise yard at Forest Bank Prison in Salford. It emerged he also stole a £5,000 Rolex watch from a pawn shop. At Manchester Crown Court, Oscar blamed his crimes on living under the shadow of his uncle, who is currently serving 4 whole life sentences for the gun and grenade murders of PCs Fiona Bone and Nicola Hughes, plus a father and son during a murderous rampage back in 2012. But the judge had rejected his pleas and jailed him for 3 years, saying there were many people in similar circumstances who live law-abiding lives. It's believed that Oscar had fled to Spain with his family, and at the time, the family were living in fear of revenge attacks from associates of gangland rivals Mark and David Short after another relative had phone threats that acid would be thrown in their faces. Oscar Cregan's drug dealing activity was discovered when he was searched as part of an investigation into theft of a Rolex watch worth £5,000 based on CCTV images circulated nationwide following the theft of the watch. Cregan was searched and found to be wearing the same jacket he wore when carrying out the offence. He also had a Rolex watch on his wrist, although it wasn't believed to be the one that had been stolen from Plymouth. The prosecutor, Stuart Neal, said the defendant and another unknown individual went into a pawn shop and the pair walked towards the counter and asked the store assistant if they could try on a Rolex, which was behind a glass display case. As the assistant gave the pair the watch, they waited for a second and then ran out of the shop into the streets. The pair were captured on CCTV and their description was provided to Greater Manchester Police. On the 15th of March, the defendant was approached by 2 police constables who noted that he matched the description and was stopped and searched. Officers found £320 in cash and 2 Nokia burner phones. He was arrested on suspicion of supplying drugs, and later analysis of the 2 phones uncovered text messages that were indicative of the defendant's involvement in drug supply. These messages showed that the defendant had been running a local drug ring for the last 3 months. The messages on the phone showed that he was involved in the supply of Class A drugs including cocaine and morphine. However, he was not found in any possession of drugs himself. His solicitor says, "I'm sure everyone in court today is aware of the backstory to this defendant's life, particularly relating to his uncle, Dale Cregan. He was 9 when his uncle was sent to prison for life. This led to his family being placed under extreme media attention. This has caused the entire family so much trauma and disruption, and he in particular has had to deal with the burdens and barriers that this has brought. He even had to relocate to Spain for a number of years in an attempt to rescue his education." The sentencing judge said the defendant is a young man born into circumstances not of his own, but there are many people who have been in similar circumstances that have gone on to live like law-abiding citizens. He said, although you were 18 at the time of the offences, that age is not a cliff edge, and at the time you were well over the cusp and considerably mature. So Cregan received 3 years in young offenders for being concerned with the supply of cannabis, crack cocaine and heroin, theft of a Rolex watch and criminal damage at Forest Bank. DC Daniel Riley of Greater Manchester Police said this result was a fantastic example of all the police forces in the UK working together to identify, prosecute and convict criminals who think nothing of committing crimes no matter where they are. So guys, this is a new story coming in. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.